welcome to Jot Notes, a podcast where we dive into the world of books and the lives of authors. My name is Jenna Green, and I'm a YA fantasy author of the Imagine series and the Reborn Mark series. Joining me is our producer, Miranda O, and she is a contemporary chick lit author of the Chin Up, Tits Out series. And she has the privilege and honor of not introducing our guest for today, but our guests. Plural. We've got two for the price of one. Hi, Miranda.
Hi. I'm so stoked to be here and introducing our guests today. So let me get this introduction out before I bring them into the studio. So we have Mr. Charles Breakfield. He is a technology expert in security, networking, voice, and anything digital, really. He enjoys writing, studying World War II history, travel, and cultural exchanges. I cannot wait to dive deep in this with this gentleman. Now, we also got Rox Burkey. Now, she is an applied technology professional who excels at optimizing technology and business investments. So we're going to really tune into that today. But together, these two folks, these two Texans, they create award-winning stories that resonate with both male and females, as well as young and experienced adults. So I'm not going to hold them out in the background further anymore. I'm going to bring them in. Hey, hi guys, how's it going? Welcome.
Oh, thank you both.
Okay, so I want to dive in. When Jenna and I prepare for our show together, we do a little bit of research about our guests, and on your website you share some pretty interesting facts about yourself. So I was hoping that each of you could take a second to share an intriguing detail about your lives as we start.
Oh gosh, where to begin? The things that really appeal to me are the giving back to the community. I mean, I guess that's important for me. I work with some very spirited people that they like to destabilize military juntas and third world dictators. I like to cater the heavy weapons for them in the incursions. So it's very satisfying to be able to help in that kind of a capacity. Rox?
Oh my goodness. So obviously my co-author is a storyteller from the bottom of his toes to the top of his head. I think I'm trying to learn humor, and he does this to help me practice, Miranda. That's where we go with this.
He leads with the humor, you follow and kind of figure it out as you go along, right?
Exactly. Thank you for understanding.
Hey, you know what? I am a true believer, and we fake it till we make it. That's how I have gone through 90% of my life. So I'm like, hey, and you know what? If I think my jokes are funny, then somebody else might think they're funny. But if I think they're funny, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Now, how and when did you two kind of begin writing together? That's a pretty dynamic duo to pick up somebody and to write some really successful stories with one another.
You know, it's funny you'd say that, because we actually got called that whenever we were pulled in to do professional services for the manufacturer that we were working for. They always referred to us as the dynamic duo. So because it was kind of funny. We worked real well with people and the technology, and if we got somebody who's really abrasive, Roxanne's like, here, I'll deal with this one. Here, you deal with the propeller heads over there in the corner, staring at his shoes. Okay, all right, okay, I can do that. But we've trained in different parts of the galaxy. We've taken our information and delivered it to different parts of the planet. So it's easy to say we work well together. It's difficult to be able to quantify how that genesis happened. It's hard to explain, but I definitely enjoy working with this spirited lady. Roxanne?
So we actually started, Miranda, actually in delivering workshops to various groups of people, salespeople primarily. And we did that not only in North America, but also in South America. So we had a lot of fun doing that. And we found that delivering workshops on technology was something we did very, very well together. We wrote a couple of nonfiction technical manuals, and quite honestly, they were old a week after they were published. And so he didn't want to write any more nonfiction. He said, "This is just boring." So I sat around and I kind of, I don't know, worked together a little start to the very first book in the series, which is The Enigma Factor. And I took it over to him and I said, "Hey, you need to go ahead and read this. And if you like it, we could go ahead and do fiction and use all of our knowledge of technology and put the threats in the technology." So kind of creating a techno thriller kind of a genre before it was popular. And I said, and as I was leaving the door, I said, "And by the way, we can kill people and not go to jail." Well, that kind of did it for him. So he was in with that.
I was hooked. She's good. She's very good. There it is.
She knew the way to your heart when it came to writing.
Yeah. Oh, we get to slaughter people like crazy. I mean, after a while, it was like, who do we need to kill next? Oh no, we got all of them. We have all of them, Charles. All right, let's invent some people that need to get whacked. Okay, all right, there it is.
It is fine to kill as many people you want in print unless it's part of an autobiography.
Exactly, Jenna. Good point. Oh my gosh.
Point taken. Point taken.
I'm just jealous that they're the dynamic duo and I get called double trouble, but no one else, just me, like singular. I'm twice the amount of trouble.
Hard. That means you go twice as hard. Good job.
Yeah, probably not.
She does. I like that though. Finding somebody you work well with in one medium, and then you start to tackle the other mediums together, and you get that jive and the ball rolling, and then all of a sudden you're this really well-oiled machine. Like, that's a very special partnership. Not everybody gets to experience that in their lifetimes.
And it's a lot of fun. You have a great point. I mean, we write together, we exchange ideas, we kind of go out on the ledge. And then, we let Charles's wife edit everything. And she's often curious about who wrote that chapter. We're not going to tell you.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question, and a perfect segue. So how does your writing process work? Like, do you guys tackle a chapter each? Do you pick up where the other one left off? Like, what does that picture look like? Paint it for us.
So let me go ahead and put the moose on the table and tell you that we use our patent pending technology called literary ping pong, and basically we'll one of us will wake up and say the 4 most terrifying words in our vocabulary. I have an idea, and we'll scope something out and then bat it over to the other one. And either you get 1 or 2 results. You get one that's like, that's good. Let me see what I can do with it. Or, have you taken your meds today? This doesn't look like like you. So, those are the contextual clues for me. It's did I take my meds? Okay, let me go check on that. But it's a polishing effort. The characters have to be polished. The story threads have to be polished. We follow a generic, not generic. That's not fair. A highly structured spreadsheet that says, here's the next chapter. Here's what we think we want to be able to do. But honestly, sometimes the chapter or the characters tell us, no, we're going this way. And so we tend to follow what the character is telling us, because that makes it more fun. It makes the story more vivid.
Oh, all my characters are feral beasts. I totally get that. They never obey.
No, they just don't.
Yep.
They haven't taken their meds, Jenna. I mean, that's what's happened with that.
Well, you can do all the pre-brainstorming, and I do, but then when you're in the middle of something, one word of dialogue or one tiny something you're adding to the description. You're describing a forest or a castle or whatever you're doing. Some detail will trigger an idea, and they're like, "That's way better." So that's part of the writing process, right? You've got to be with. I always tell my students, I'm like, you need to have a plan, but you can change it if something better comes along. That's part of it. And I know a lot of writers are plotters and they're very rigid with their. But even in editing, if it doesn't make sense, you got to be willing to let it go.
Yeah,
I would say we're not rigid. We're very flexible.
I like that. That flow, I think, allows for a lot more creative opportunity, right? Especially when there's the two of you that come from different backgrounds, different places, different mindsets, just different unique people. When you're dealing with multiple brains and personalities, I think the easiest way is to go with the flow and be flexible and kind of say, okay, you know what, maybe I don't see your creative vision right now, but let's play it out and see how it goes. And it's obviously worked quite successfully for you guys a few times.
No, it really has. And we've had instances where, we had a plan and we wrote a chapter, but the chapter didn't really mirror what we had needed for that portion of the story. But the chapter was good. It was really good. And so we tend to push it around until it goes into its spot. It's kind of like a really complex puzzle. The 5,000 piece puzzles that people do. Yeah, that's what we do with stories.
So now, are you guys like in close proximity or geographically that you can sit together at a computer, or is it, hey, I emailed you this or I added this to this document, review it, and kind of that relationship is more virtual?
Yes.
The latter,
Both.
yeah.
We do. No, we do both.
Oh, you do both? Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Like
I was like, what?
I've never met Jenna face to face, and all like our whole relationship is virtual. Okay. And we do a lot of collaborating, just co-hosting our show, and it would be so wonderful to be able to sit and have a cup of coffee or a cocktail with her in real life one day. But the fact that you guys, right? You get to do it all the time. That's so nice.
Yeah, I mean, so it every once in a while, I mean, I'll get my hound dog all cinched up. I'll go up there and we'll see her and her hound dog, and we'll sit there and kibitz on the story. What's working, what isn't, what needs to be tweaked. That back and forth. That's extremely valuable from a working relationship standpoint. Now we're both technologists. We've worked on global teams. People around the planet. I know them by their face. I've never met them in person. So and I've done it for at least 2 decades. So it's easy for us to be able to do the virtual thing, but it's very gratifying to be able to have the option to be able to sit and chat. See that wrinkle on her face when she looks at something and goes, really. Really?
You can't, if they have a great idea and it's only virtual, you can't hug them. And if they have a really weird idea, you can't flick them.
Yeah.
Oh, we tend not to slap them. We slap characters often, but we don't slap one another.
So we can slap characters and we can kill them, but we don't do it to each other.
That's a good life rule.
Yeah, I think so.
Exactly. You get to play. But like, for example, right now I'm in Austin and Charles is up in Dallas. So we're pretty virtual at this point. But yet I am, technology, though it may be today's weapon of choice per our series, it is something that allows us to communicate pretty frequently at whatever time we have an idea.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. You don't have to wait till 6, 7, 8 a.m. to phone them or. Yeah, I get that. When I grew up, my dad was, well, he still is, but he was a geologist and he would go away for months at a time. And all he had was a satellite phone that wouldn't work. Right. And my husband is a part-time truck driver, but I can phone him. I can text him. I can video chat. I'm like, I have so much left here. But so we're going to get into your Enigma series, but I actually have a question for Miranda first, because then I know how well prepped her and I are for this next part. So, because I'm the person with technology where last night I couldn't get the remote to work. That's like what level I'm at. And like if someone buys me technology, like a printer, my husband tells me to go take a nap, like go away and come back. So what, but, and we got these technology experts here. Where are you at with technology, Miranda?
Probably nowhere near both of these guys in the reality. I do dabble a little bit in technology in my corporate job. You know, I run a learning management system and create training material on like create learning modules. So like a little bit, but when my IT team comes to me and starts speaking in their language, I'm like, nope, sorry, I don't. You take the wheel, take control. Like the virtual meeting has that setting. Take control and do what you got to do. But I think that's also, I mean, producing this show has really helped up my technology knowledge as well. And it also kind of has solidified my role and Jenna's role in this podcast, as you guys have solidified your roles in your partnership. Jenna does a lot of the background research and preparation, and I do a lot of the technology and the post-show production. And I think once you figure out who has what strengths and then you choose to utilize those strengths, a partnership has only one way to go, and that's up.
Agreed. But now, we are technologists, but we do recognize that we have this odd predisposition for acronyms all the time. I mean, so when you said, Miranda, the IT people come in and they start speaking in tongues, and so and I recognize that, and so the mantra is there has always been, don't do that. in technical presentations, and so we kind of poke fun at ourselves in the technology world, because we have a list of acronyms that we've built that are, dare I say it, they're designed to be able to poke fun at the the nonsense that we come up with. Our supercomputer, his name is Ichabod. We refer to him as Ichabod all the time. He's an AI-enhanced deep machine learning chunk of gear that's is in a complete data center. But what we don't, we introduced him early on as Ichabod, and his real name is the Immersive Collaborative Associative Override of Deterministic Systems. And so we come up with that one. We've got like some 50 or 70 different acronyms that we use throughout the different books, just to be able to reinforce the fact that, hey, don't be silly. I mean, this is, you have to talk to people, and they can't look at you like you've lost your mind. I mean, the polymorphic override of programming systems, we shortened that to Pop-Tarts. So, that's exactly where we take that, that level of nonsense to basically say, we're not so important that we can't poke fun at us.
It's funny. It's witty. It's useful. My mom about 10 years ago had a little book. LOL means, IM means, WTF means. So it does help. But let's go back. Let's just slide back a few steps. So we have the Enigma series. How did it start? Like, what's the concept behind it, or the framework, and why is it called Enigma? Does that stand for
that's
you?
a really good question, Jenna. So a little quick history. So your audience may or may not be familiar with what the Enigma machine is. But the Enigma machine was a device that was created to help encrypt information. And it was used by the Germans in World War II to secure their battle plans between their generals. You may or may not realize this, but it is also at the heart of every single little device that we have that has access. So it's in your mobile phone, it's in your PC, it's in your laptop, it's everywhere. And so we use that element as the foundation because there's a technology issue in every single one of the books, and that's the focus. So remember, it's the cyber good guys against the cyber thugs. You know, if you want to just get down to the basics. So, for example, the very first books focus on the technology threat is identity theft. We have books on cryptocurrency. We have books on artificial intelligence. We have books on everything from ghost code, which is really fun. Have any of you ever had downloaded where you couldn't get into your machine? Did you get some kind of a code and they wanted ransom? Yeah. So Jenna,
we had every other kind, but
Enigma Wraith is just for you. But I mean, so each book has its threat. That's a part of the story. So they're fictional stories with real technology as the threat.
I love that. I love that. My husband is Nigerian, and I always laugh because I'm like, oh, I got an email from a Nigerian prince who wants to give me $10 million, and I just got to click this link. And he's like, no, don't do it. I'm like, I'm just kidding. And you know what? I was watching the news earlier with my mom, and apparently the city that I live in, Winnipeg, Manitoba, is under like cyber attack right now, that people are just targeting Winnipeggers for some reason. I don't know why, but so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not only news, and well, I live with a Nigerian prince, let's call him. So
yeah, I got an
Nigerian prince emailing me. Are you taking my Nigerian prince away from me?
Miranda, I like that. I like the conflict. I mean, you get a lot of the man versus man, or man versus self, not man, but like character versus human. So man versus nature, man versus self, man versus man. But and when we think of man versus environment, we always think hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes,
Mother Nature.
Yeah, that's the one we think of, right? I taught grade 6 LA for like 11 years, and I read 9 billion stories of being stranded on a desert island. But the idea of man versus
machine
technology, or it's very Ray Bradbury-esque, except he had to kind of speculate what the future might look like.
Right.
And now we're in that future. And then you guys actually know how it could actually play out. So I'm more terrified, and I find Ray Bradbury very terrifying. So the fact that you're terrifying me more.
Well, we got into it pretty hot and heavy with artificial intelligence and machine learning in books number 11 and 12. And so we really dug into it and explored what one scenario for the planet. Here's what could happen under these conditions, and the R group is actually under attack. They are a competitor for the bad guys, and so they actually have, instead of the R group is sort of clandestine, easier to be able to hit without being seen. They're known, and so it's a direct combat, a direct scenario, and the sequence is the Enigma Beyond, who won the AI wars, and so we explore that to a it's a little bit unusual for us. We write each book so they can be enjoyed by themselves, but those two books are almost companions. They're standalone. If you only read one, you'll enjoy it. But if you get both of them, you'd be locking the doors and looking to see, hey, what kind of ammunition can I get, and who can I call in to lay down suppressive fire for me? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we get into, because it's not that far fetched is the problem.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not that.
Right.
But
I'm sure it's what drags people in and keeps people in. You know what I mean? Like it's so close to reality and I love reading about, things that are close to my reality, but just a little off kilter that causes me some sort of stress or anxiety. And that's how I finish and flip through a book really quickly. So I can imagine that it just creates a page turner story for your readers.
Yeah. And we don't dive into the technology, all the bits and bytes. To Roxanne's point, I do have my meds, so I don't have to get that deep into the stuff. But because I love the here's how it works. I'm the kind of guy that's like, they always complain about me, like, Charles, you always want to know how the sausage is made. Stop it. I mean, just tell me the story.
You don't want to know how the sausage is made.
It's
That's
a
right.
tricky thing to balance. Like you want to explain it, but also there's pacing, right?
Yeah.
To a book. And if you spend 45 pages explaining something, you've lost your pacing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's about the story, Jenny. I mean, it's Jenna. It's a story, and everything else is subtext to it. So if it doesn't add to the story, it's a detractor. So that's the polishing effort that Roxanne and I do all the time on our books, our stories, and the short stories that feed the big books.
That's the tightrope you gotta have to walk, right?
Yeah.
Is there like themes that tend to reoccur in each of these books, or like an underlying message, not a preachy one, but a underlying kind of,
I think the underlying, Jenna, to be honest with you, is that the cyber thugs that we have to cohabitate with in this universe always try some brand new way of hurting us. And they learn from one another. So that would be the underline. There may be a specific threat, but it's always somebody trying to get something that they didn't earn, that they didn't deserve.
Yeah, and just kind of camp onto that. I mean, a lot of what goes on the internet from the dark net, people believe I'm invulnerable. You can't find me. You can't see me. You don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And when you pierce that veil of like, and I've seen several examples of that where some of the Russian mobsters from the dark net, they sack up a whole bunch of money. I think I'll go on vacation, and the first international airport they drop into, the FBI is waiting for them. Because they said, "All right, come on, you're coming with us. You're in public waters, and we're here to arrest you." Isn't it wonderful? I love that. Those are great stories. I love stuff like that because we know who you were. We just can't get you out of Russia. If you show up where you can be, like the Maldives, they keep sacking people up. Say, all right, come on, we got a boat for you.
It's what I remember when I was a kid and the internet was becoming more popular, technology was evolving, and I always kind of made this my family. I don't know if it was a family thing that it stemmed from, but cyber bullies were the people that were middle-aged, living in their parents' basement and eating Cheetos. Just like those were the cyber bullies. And now the way that technology has made our world so small, this could be like a very educated, specific person that's well off somewhere in the middle of Russia. We don't know, but you click around, you can the right people are the right way through technology, and you can figure out who those people are. So it's no longer the person eating Cheetos in their mom's basement.
And just so you know,
Miranda, was very interesting nowadays is that generation that was eating Cheetos They've had children and they're tired, so they're going to go off to the islands that they can buy. And they're leaving behind a legacy of, hey, you want to go ahead, earn money, go do this.
Yeah. And just so you know, they've gone from Cheetos to Doritos. I'm just telling you. Okay.
Oh, okay. See, I got to write that down. They are the experts.
We have upgraded in some people's minds. I'm a Cheeto lover, a diehard. So, but I don't live in my mom's basement eating Cheetos.
You know, it was funny when the internet just first came online. I distinctly remember some media outlet saying you can find anything and everything on the internet except money. You can't make any money on it. And now it's like
that's all you do.
That's what you know, that's what Amazon does from legitimate. That's what a lot of these mail order places are, but also it's where the dark net, the bad actors in the dark net show up, and that's where they get their money. So it's kind of prophetic that somebody said you can't make any money off the internet, and then in 20 years it's like that. Has that ever changed or what?
I mean, e-commerce is a whole new definition of the black market, you know?
Oh my gosh, yep. It is.
I was born in 1981, so I'm very much I was in high school when this whole internet thing came out, but I was at a trivia thing the other day and it made me feel old because they asked the question. I was the only one that knew the answer. What was Amazon originally online for? What did it originally sell? Nobody else knew but me. I was like, books? So there you go. That's how crazy technology changes and how fast and how it evolves and how like everyone was astounded. They're like, "Oh, it's all books." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah. By the way, they still do.
They still do, but that's all they did originally.
That's crazy.
Anyway, so for those people that have been totally intrigued by Enigma, I'm gonna throw you a flurry of questions. Like, what's the first one? I know you said that they're self-contained, but maybe they do want to start at the beginning. What's the first one? What's the latest release? And how can
the first book is a second edition called The Enigma Factor.
And the most recent release is?
The Enigma Threat, book 12.
Nice. And they want to find these. They how would they locate them or you?
Oh, that is a great question. So certainly our website is probably the best source, which is enigmaseries.com. They are for sale in almost any venue that you can get on the internet. So Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, we're pretty much everywhere. Ebooks are only on Amazon. They're kind of exclusive there.
Okay.
Now, I will point out that we also have audibles on all the books for the first
audiobooks are available, and we do sell them off our website. That's true.
Yeah.
Can I just say, anyone that's listening or watching this, go to their website. I was down that rabbit hole for like hours. There's so much on that. Rox has a blog, and I was just down there for days. So, most author websites are pretty simple, but I found yours fascinating. I almost forgot to pick up my kid from daycare. But
thank you. Did you like the book trailers, Jenna? Did you like the book trailers?
I did. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. So a big thank you. Miranda's going to throw all those links into the podcast description. She's putting a few up right now, so you can grab those. But enigmabookseries.com is pretty easy to remember. So a big thank you for coming on our show today, and interesting discussions, the role of technology and technology as a villain or the person using that technology. Very, very intriguing. Got my head a whirring. But before we sign off, we do need to say thank you to both of you, but our show sponsors. So a big thank you to Writers Library Network and Creative Edge Publicity with Mickey Mickelson, and our viewers and our listeners. Big thank you. And this is a great show, right, Miranda?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. And we can't wait to host the next one, but we can't wait to see what you guys have coming down the pipeline next. So please keep in touch and we'd be happy to host you again in the future.
Ladies, thank you very much. And remember our tagline, technology is today's weapon of choice.
I can't agree with you more.
Ladies, you're a delightful pair to talk to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies.